All right. This is it. I think this is my starting right here. We're live. I keep watching these other streamers and podcasters, and they're like, they always have like this little catch thing, how they start their thing. And for me, I notice, I say, we're live.
You need to have like a good intro, I don't know, like who's a good comedy, like George Lopez or something like that,
Yeah, I mean, I guess it'll come with time. But thank you, everyone. Welcome to the Second City Life podcast, episode 6. We're halfway there, halfway to the end. Not forever, but at least season 1, right? Today on the podcast, I got a friend of mine. Also played on a team with him. Did I play with you? Did you play with me? I don't know, right?
Yeah, I think you played with me.
Yeah. You got none other than Mike Schellhorn. He's a player. We'll say we'd say director of tournament director.
Tournament director, yeah.
Tournament director. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
No, it's long overdue. We planned this already a while ago.
Yeah,
So thanks for coming on the show, man.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So but I always like to start off my shows by having you introduce yourself. So, because I know you, at least I know a little bit about you. I don't know everything, but tell the audience who you are. Tell them a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I grew up in Joliet, Illinois. 24 years old. I've been playing baseball since I was 4. So when I was t-ball, and learned everything from scratch. My dad, I could say was my first coach. He would always work with me in the backyard and take me to parks.
Okay.
He would not miss a game, not even miss a practice, and he owned his own business, so that was pretty cool. Like he would make it like his duty of the day, to go. He great father, always there for his kids. And then my brother started playing when I was I think we're 2 years apart.
Okay.
And we would just play catch, hit with each other. And my brother, I hate to admit this, but he's more talented than me. He always was. I don't know, like he was just more talented. It wasn't until I started in high school, that's where my talent started to show with my power and my swing. And until this day, I say I'm still the best Schellhorn of hitting.
Okay. I mean, it's probably debatable, but
yeah,
no,
it's a fact.
Okay, so so then you start off when you were 4.
Yeah.
And your dad pretty much coached. So did your dad have a travel team? Did he put together a travel team with you? Usually, most dad coaches will end up putting together a travel team baseball for their kids.
You know what? He did. When I was there still is an in-house team called Whiteford in Joliet.
Okay.
And so we were called the Whiteford Bulldogs. And that started when I was about 9-ish. And then we started our official and travel team when I was like 11. He was called the Joliet Hitmen. And yeah.
That team.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the one that Colin betrayed me for and had somebody take photos of him, and it wasn't me. I'm watching you, Colin. See, if you're watching this, Colin. See, I don't forget things. I don't forget that you had another photographer take photos and then you shared them.
Oh man, that's bad. That's
wow,
cheating.
That's
man.
cheating.
That's worse than
cheating.
That's cheating, man.
Thought we had a relationship here.
Exactly.
So did you play on the Joliet Hitmen?
I did for a year and a half or 2 years, I think it was. I'd play for 2 years, and then I made a decision with my dad. I actually went to my dad and just say, hey, like, I want to expand my talent. I want to learn more about the game. Okay. And I just felt like that wasn't a great team. I just felt like it just wasn't for me personally. And I found that out like when I was like 12. And I was like, my dad always would let us make our own decisions in life. So I feel like that was a great lesson. Great team, great family. I just wanted to expand my horizon in the game.
Where does that team actually play at as far as like what league?
So it's a travel team. I would say they just play in tournaments like I would say gold. I mean, for like it's youth, so I think it's like okay. I think it's a gold and silver. I forget all the. It's been a while since I played. You know,
makes me question Colin. How was Colin on that team this past summer? So many questions. Need answers.
He was Colin. Actually, we've been friends since 6th grade. We started playing junior high together. That's how we met. And he again, great pitcher back then. He played third base, and he was a great hitter. Most people didn't really see his skill for hitting, which I saw. I mean, I thought like great pitcher all day. I mean, you have him as your ace, like he can do anything. He's pitched in a lot of playoff games, a lot of postseason games, even junior high. Mm-hmm. You know, we played school ball together, 6th, 7th, 8th grade.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's cool. Anybody else in the league you played with besides him?
I played with he didn't play this year, but Cole Allstott. He went to my high school.
Okay.
And we played together when we were freshman through senior year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where did you go to high school? Where did you mention it already?
I went to Minooka Community High School.
Did you play? And I'm assuming you played there, right?
I did. Yeah, I played all 4 years there. From 2014. No, 20. Well, I went to freshman in my freshman year, 2014, but 2015 to 2018. So like the 2015 season, like freshman, sophomore, junior.
How was playing in high school?
Oh, the competition was really good. Our conference, I feel like, is one of the best in Illinois. We have all the Plainfield schools: Plainfield North, South, East, and Central. And shout out to Alex Herrera for Plainfield South. Minooka's better. It's funny. It's funny story.
Starting stuff.
Oh yeah, funny story about that. We actually beat, which is his school, Geo and Ivan's high school. We beat them in the conference championship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when I was 17, we won. We had to beat Plainfield North, who was number 1 in our conference. Or no, it was Plainfield South. Plainfield North was number 2, and we beat Plainfield South, which was number 1. So we had to sweep both series. We had to win 2 and 2. So we had to win 4 games straight to win conference. No one thought we would, and we did. That was cool.
That's cool. So talk to me about those suburb schools, because what is the best baseball team in the suburbs when it comes to high school ball?
It depends.
There's just different competition out there versus the city.
I feel like some lower levels, like in 3A, like St. Lawrence, JCA, Province, Mark Carmel, even Brother Rice.
Those are not the suburbs, FYI. That's still Chicago.
But the suburbs, Plainfield North is good.
Plainfield North?
Yeah,
I heard good things about like Wheaton.
Wheaton? I don't know much about Wheaton. No.
Maybe now. Like now I heard, but because I mean, there's so many fields out there, and baseball is apparently really, really, really big out there. So
yeah. By me, I feel like Plainfield North and Plainfield South have put together a good resume for all their years in playing the sport, and they go. I think Plainfield North actually won 3 championships in like the past 5 years.
Ooh.
For state. They won it my senior year, actually. So, yeah, Plainfield North is really good, I would say. Plainfield South is good too. What I notice about them, they always like have a great regular season, but it's like the New York Yankees sometimes, you know, they have a good regular season and like you could choke in like the playoffs.
I mean, that's the White Sox too, though. But that's cool. Now something I learned just the other day was that you played college ball.
I did.
Where'd you play?
So I played at Judson University. That's where I was first committed.
Okay. And
then I transferred to College of DuPage.
Okay. How did you end up at those schools to begin with? Did they reach out to you in high school year? Did you go try out? How was that journey for you?
Yeah, so my junior year, I started making videos of like each player would like their own videos to send out to coaches and stuff. Mm-hmm. I actually got reached out by Coach Guilfoyle. I think his name was. I got a phone call and said, "Hey, we saw your video." I played in high school. My last 2 years, I played for Rhino Academy. Great organization. Love my coaches there, Coach Greg and Coach Andrew. And shout out to those guys. But they have a great organization. They give you the tools to pretty much strengthen yourself to get ready for college ball. And I feel like that Rhino would always be my home, my second home, pretty much. I could go back now and just hit with the guys, and I still remember my fellow teammates that went off to different colleges. We still talk sometimes.
So did they give you a scholarship to go play for them, or how? What is that like?
So Judson did. He came out. The assistant coach did, and came out, saw me hit in the cage, do some reps at first and third. Got a scholarship there. Unfortunately, I transferred just because my major was not there.
What was your major at the time?
So it was exercise sports science, and I didn't want that.
Okay.
I wanted to go into recreation sports management.
Okay.
So I transferred to College of DuPage just to get my gen eds out of the way, and then transferred then to JJC and then USF. So USF was my final school because is
that University of South Florida?
University of St. Francis.
Oh, St. Francis. Oh, up in Joliet.
Yeah.
So, sidetrack, but I did look them up recently. They are really good at baseball there too.
They won the conference championship back-to-back years, this year and last year, I believe.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. Wow. See, I just literally learned about them about a week ago. I had been there. I went to a basketball game there when they played San Xavier.
Okay.
So I'm going to shoot some photos there. But something told me to kind of look them up for baseball-wise last week, and I did. And I'm like, oh, wow, they got a really good baseball program up there apparently.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
My dad actually went there, and he played for a legend coach named Gordy Gillespie. So he was the coach.
Is he still alive?
No, he's not anymore. He coached for, I think, over 30 years. I mean, and he held a great record. Won some, I think he won a World Series in college, like for NAIA. And he played right field for him. He graduated in the class of 90. So I went there, and now my sister's there now. So it's like
that's cool.
Kind of legacy.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, there's so many. It's crazy how there's so many schools that are really, big on baseball out here. I never thought it was a thing like that. Everyone ever looks at football and basketball as like the main ones, and then but like now I'm listening that baseball is a thing, and I think I almost feel like it's a little bit easier to get scholarships.
It is, especially if you're NAIA. They have different rules than Division I, Division II, and Division III. So NAIA can actually give you more money. They can give you like D1, D2. They can only give you a percentage. You can't really go there for full time, full scholarship. It's really rare.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So even if you're a D1 commit, you're still gonna be paying some money out of pocket some way.
Yeah, it depends because it's like a budget for the team, so they can decide if a person could go there full time, like if they could give you hey, we'll give you a full scholarship or partial. Division III, they cannot give you any sports scholarships. No, they can't. They can only give you academic.
Okay.
Yeah. So NAIA can give you the most money that you like. A lot of players can go there for full scholarships. It's a different rules set place.
So what's the benefit of going? I mean, not everyone's gonna make it to D1. At least not immediately, right? Unless you're like a transfer, you can transfer in the D1 school. But how does a D3 school even attract the player then to come play for them?
I would say, because I had quite a bit of friends that played D3. Some of them are really good ball players. I think it just depends on the school, really. So if you're going for something depending on your major, or they'll try to find ways to to get you something. So I'm sure there's a loophole a little bit. So that question, I'm not sure. Like for me, it depends what kind of player you are. So I was like classified. The max level I can go was just Division 2 at the time.
Okay.
So I did have some D2 offers from Quincy University, and I had an offer at Lewis, but it was just for walking on, which I didn't want to do.
Okay.
So my best offer was Judson University at the time. I liked when I first visited, it was great. I liked the campus. It was spread out, and the field was great. It was up in Elgin, so I just wasn't my belief. You know, I guess like they're really strict on rules too. For I think they're forget what religion they are.
It's a religious school.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I went to DePaul University, and it's crazy. I'm sure they got a baseball team. I've just never ever saw their baseball team. Like, it's crazy. As crazy as that sounds, saw their soccer team, which was really good. The women's basketball team was phenomenal when I was there. They made it to that was the year that they were in the tournament, and they made it almost. I think they made it to the championship game.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was there from 2015 through 2019.
So you think basketball was the biggest sport?
Oh yeah. I mean, they had their big arena, and then now they got the Wintrust Arena down over here by the Loop for the men's. So they're definitely a basketball school.
Okay.
But it's interesting now to think about, did they have a baseball and where that baseball team even played? Mm-hmm. Interesting. I have to look that up. But
actually, my recruiting class for Judson and NAIA, like in the country, 2018, we were number 1. So when I got recruited, like the freshman going in, we were number 1.
Okay.
So Judson actually won the conference my senior year of high school. And I went on a visit, and I saw a group of the guys. These are like, there's a couple guys there that hit like 30 home runs in college.
Wow.
And I was like, how? I think the most I ever hit in a season, I guess like overall throughout the whole year, was probably like 8.
8?
Yeah.
Were they at Hart Park?
Actually, no. Not all of them.
All these guys over here saying they can hit home runs. They can only hit home runs at Hart Park, all right? Yeah, I'm throwing shade.
For me, I always try to, you know what's funny? Hitting a triple for me is like hitting a home run. I never hit triples, obviously, because like I'm a big guy. But when I hit a triple, man, I celebrate like a home run. I actually look forward to it. Like it's so much fun, you know, just like, hey, yeah, I'm speed demon. Even though my teammates give me crap for it, it's like, hey, you're pulling a trailer.
So did you play ball until you graduated from college?
I did. Like for men's league, I did. But not for college.
Not in the college scene at that point.
No. My last 3 years, I did not play.
Okay.
No. Just because I had a lot of internships I had to do. I know that would take time, away. And you have to like decide, like, college athlete is a full-time job. I mean, you're in the fall, like you're lifting a lot. You're going to practice, you're studying, going to classes, and going back to bed. And you do the same thing over again.
Yeah.
So and you're traveling, even the season, like you're traveling to like different towns, different states on a bus. And it's just like, takes up your whole day. Plus
working out, hitting the gym.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. I mean, an athlete is a job, period.
Yeah.
There's no questions about it. But, well, that's good. Now, how'd you end up in Blue Island?
My brother's friend, who also plays in the league, Gio Herrera, his dad, Coach Alex Herrera, reached out to me back in 2020 and said, hey, we're putting together a team, and would you like to join? And so I haven't played baseball. I took a year. So I played in 2018. I took a year off in 2019. I was like, yeah, why not? Like, I think it'll be fun. Mm-hmm. And so he recruited me, and I got back into it.
Was that the Orioles at the time?
It was. Well, actually, it was the Orioles, but it was a different name. So in 2020, it was called the Phillies.
Well, Alvaro says he whooped you when you were in the Phillies or something like that.
Yeah, tell him I took his pitcher deep, and the first time I played him.
I mean, if he's in here, he's gonna hear you say that. So
yeah.
Okay. So you played for him. How long did you play for Alex?
In total, I played for 3 years.
3 years with Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. He was still a close friend of the family. We still talk. Great guy, great family man. Great family.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I know you left the Orioles at some point. What other team did you play after the Orioles?
So after the Orioles, I actually played for the Expos with Coach Courtney and Coach Toma.
Okay.
And I got on that team when I was with. So I played for. Do you know about the Rockies in Burbank?
Yes.
So I played with them for 1 year in 2022 when I was playing with Alex, and I played in Monday. That's a Monday through Saturday league,
Mm-hmm.
and they asked me to come play, and so I was like, hey, like this is great. I love the chemistry here. Love the guys, and so I went to the Expos.
Okay.
So I thought that was cool.
And how long were you with them?
Only 1 year. They a lot of the guys, some of them I think end up splitting like after this year actually.
Okay.
So I just wanted to find a new home, for a couple years because I didn't know what people were doing. A lot of people were getting married. A lot of people were having kids.
You know what's funny is that I actually reached out to a team trying to get them to come over here to Blue
Mm-hmm.
Island recently. And they're like, he's like, he tells me, thank you for reaching out. He's like, I am actually looking to join the league.
Oh.
And he's like, the reason I'm looking to join the league is because we took a break, like a year off, because everybody was getting married. He's like, people were getting married, people were having kids, and there wasn't the time. So we just say, you know what? We'll take a year off,
Mm-hmm.
come back after that, and then we'll put the team back together and we'll go back out there. So it just so happens that I reached out to him and, we're talking. Hopefully, the league president can get him to join the league. I think that would be a good fit. And but it was interesting. It's interesting how life, it happens. Sometimes it just happens all at one time. And teams, disappear. They were here
Mm-hmm.
one day and they're gone the next. So then, from there you went to the Nats. I'm
Mm-hmm.
assuming, right?
Yeah.
How long were you with the Nats?
1 year.
1 year.
1 year.
So that was just this past year when I was following you guys around then, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then from there, where are you now?
I am with the D-backs.
So you're with the D-backs?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just didn't know, so I was like, you know what? Let me ask the question here. Okay, so you're with the Diamondbacks. Okay. Now you've been on a few teams. I don't see nothing wrong with being on a few teams.
Mm-hmm.
It's your choice where do you want to go play. Are you just playing on the D-backs, or are you helping coach? What is that dynamic gonna be like for you guys?
I'm just gonna be a player.
Player?
Yeah, just a player. Just because working a lot and directing tournaments. I just want to be a player. Praise so much. I just want to show up and play. It's like, here, what do you want me? Like, I'll go do this. I'll go do that. Just play with the guys. Pretty much.
Because you helped during our fall ball. You were a little bit helping coaching, right?
A little bit. Not so much.
Not so much. Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, not so much. Rich and Eddie were doing that.
Okay.
More so, yeah.
How many is the team you guys fielded in the fall ball essentially the team that will be in the league next season, or like how is that dynamic? Where you guys are at as far as a roster wise?
That's a good question. I'm not necessarily sure. Some of them, yeah. So like I would say 50, percent.
Okay.
Like from that team will be, our players for next year. But I'm not totally sure on the numbers wise.
That makes sense. I mean, it's a new team. I actually reached out to a couple of other teams who are just starting off, and they're also about that 50% mark,
Mm-hmm.
putting their roster together. So, if anybody's interested, I'm sure you guys are recruiting, right?
Mm-hmm.
If anybody to reach out to Eddie, Rich,
Yeah,
yourself,
Eddie, Rich,
yeah, Eddie or Rich are the main guys. But I mean, if you know Mike, give him a holler. I'm sure you connected with the people if you guys want to join them. But speaking of for the fall ball, that's a tournament you helped head on, correct?
The Fall Classic. Yep.
Yeah, but it's not your first tournament,
No.
right?
No.
You did the Spring Classic last year,
I did.
or this year, I should say. Right?
Yes.
Still in the year, so this year.
Mm-hmm.
Was that your first tournament you ever did?
Yes, it was actually my first own tournament. Yep.
How difficult? Talk to me about that process. How do you even go about putting together something like that?
Oh, well, I was watching in 2023 at the beginning of the season. I was watching the World Baseball Classic. You ever seen that?
Yeah.
So I thought it was really cool to watch different countries play each other, and so I'm like, what if that was like Chicago, like where you're playing different teams from different leagues in Chicago? And I thought, like, questioning myself, because I think that I just finished up my fourth season playing men's league, and I played in Burbank this is actually gonna be my fourth year coming up, so for 3 years now. And I heard stories about other leagues, like, hey, this league's good, this league's better, this is better. I'm like, let's find out. I always wondered, like, who is the best team, or who has the best league in Chicago. So I put together this tournament, and it took off. Like, I had 12 teams the first year. Could have went more, but I just want to see how it was going to be.
Yeah.
So, and weather-wise too, it's only in March, beginning of March. So it was cool.
It's not for the faint of heart. Not for the faint of heart. I was there this year, and I mean, some of those days was warm though. I'm not gonna say that it wasn't. It wasn't the warmest, but it was playable. Besides the championship game, because I was actually there for that one, and that wind was howling.
You know what's funny? In February, we actually had 60-degree weather this year. Could you believe it?
That's what I'm saying. It's like those first games, in March were not bad, and then until that championship game, Mother Nature's like, absolutely not. You think you're gonna play? Watch this.
Yes.
Hold my drink. But okay, so you had 12 teams. What were the 12 teams you had on there?
It was the Illinois Nationals. It was the Giants from Lakefront. It was the Chicago Giants from Blue Island. The Hitmen. It was the Trash Pandas from MSL.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was the Furies, which was a combined team of the Blue Jays and the Expos. The Northwest Indiana Cardinals.
Okay.
And I believe the Punishers from MSL. And who was that?
We're at 9, I think.
9. And then I believe Southsiders.
10.
And the last 2, I believe were. Gosh, I'm trying to think. Who am I missing?
I don't know. Those are
the Braves. The Braves and the Bravos.
Yes, and then wasn't there an Orioles?
Yes, there was
a version of the Orioles.
Yes, so the Braves from Washington Park and the Bravos from Washington Park.
Oh, so you had more than that's like 13 then, right?
I had 12. No, I had 12. That was it. Yeah.
So okay, so you got all these 12 teams. How'd you end up getting to come and play there? Did you reach out to them? Did they just reach out to you? What was that process like?
So I made a flyer, and then I just posted it, and then like it took a while. So like I believe this year I had more catches. So like in the first week I had 7 teams signed up. Right now we're at 8 right now. Which is really good. It's way faster than last year. Last year, teams started joining about, I would say, the end and beginning of January.
Okay.
So towards the middle and end of January, I know teams would say like, "Hey, it's too cold. It's not going to happen." But once that date gets closer, I mean, baseball starts coming in. You want to play. I mean, like you go 3 months, and it's basically like, what's all this training for?
Yeah.
So I like the Spring Classic because it's a good way for like spring training to see, like, if you're a coach, the benefits from playing this tournament is like, what are you going to have for the whole season? Like as far as players, like what your team looks like, what you guys need to work on before you guys start. So a lot of leagues, they start in April, some start in May. We start actually, I think we're one of the, if only, I think the team that starts at the end and beginning, like so the end of March and like the beginning of April. So we're one of the teams that starts early, but we finish early.
Okay. So you put together that tournament, see it through. The Illinois Nationals win that trophy, that championship for that tournament. What was the most difficult part about from that first tournament?
I guess making sure everything's going well. So dealing with making your workers as umpires. As far as like the weather wise, directing a tournament, you have to make sure, like, especially at the beginning of the spring, you're like, hey, is the weather gonna hold up? Because you have to figure out how to get the games in. And what's directing and playing is very challenging. It's very challenging because you gotta think if something goes wrong, you gotta go do this, you gotta go do that. It's always good to hire workers as well. So.
Okay. So, and now once that was done, did you already have in mind, say, I'm going to do another one for the fall, or did that kind of spring up a little bit later?
I had an idea to do, because I liked, and everyone that played in it, as far as coaches and teams, they all liked it because they got to play teams that they never get a chance to play. Like maybe like we got a chance to play against some Washington Park teams, the Indiana team, the MSL, and Lakefront. I believe it was us. It was the Illinois, like when I was playing for the Illinois Nationals, it was Illinois Nationals versus Giants in the championship. So that was cool playing other teams. Yeah.
So did you change anything? Did you change anything the way how you handle that for the fall? Because the fall was, I think it had less teams, but man, when I tell you that people were like, it was almost like, can't even say it, but it was like a drug. It was a drug that, like, that fall tournament, like everyone was invested in that. What do you think was the difference? Like,
the talent. I mean, the talent was great in Southside Spring Classic. The fall, I got to see some newer teams, the Marcanos, the Indians from Tinley Park, and I believe Elite. I'm not sure where they're from.
I don't know where that Elite was from. I think they're from Lakefront.
Okay, but that it was pretty cool to see. The fall classic felt like just how like October baseball is, like actual postseason. That's how it felt.
Oh yeah, I mean, not to try to give me kudos, but I mean, I streamed some games, not everyone's games, some games. But I mean, those stands had people every single game. There wasn't a game where the stands were empty. Even those 8:00 games in the morning, which is terrible, Mike. Terrible. I don't know, like, if whose idea that was, but that was terrible.
It was Alvaro's.
I'm like, but it's the weekend, and you're trying to make me wake up at 8:00 in the morning. Actually, 7 more. Actually, 6:30 because you want to get to the field early. So bad. I don't know. Fire that man. But it was a great turnout. I personally had fun because I was on one of the teams, and I got to play, and that was a great experience. So now you are bringing the Spring Classic back, or you already brought it back. You mentioned that right now you already have 8 teams. How is that going for you?
It's going really well. We actually have some new teams. The Rodeos from Men's Joliet. They're coming to the Spring Classic. A lot of teams that are on that list are teams that played that are coming back as well.
Okay.
So that's awesome. To see teams that, hey, they loved it and like they're coming back to get ready for their season and to play some more baseball. What's cool about that, what I switched up, is that everybody makes playoffs, the bracket play.
Okay.
Give them playoff experience, which I think is really cool.
So so the first spring classic, that wasn't a thing. Like it was only like a certain amount of teams that made it.
Yes. So the top 6 out of the top 12 made it, and then fall classic. I wanted to try this to see how it was gonna work. Everybody made bracket play, so I feel like that was cool. No matter what, like it gives teams that don't make it regularly to like give them that experience. Like, hey, what does it feel like, to be an elimination game? Because in baseball, anything could happen. I think I heard a story in the fall classic where Elite was winning by 2 runs, and the Bandits actually were they had 2 guys on, and then Matt Owens came up to the plate, down 2 strikes, hit a walk-off home run.
Oh yeah, I mean it happened to us Saturday with Michoacan. They and kudos to them for winning the championship for the tournament. But I think they hit it off my boy Mike Fuentes. Oh. Shout out to Mike if you're in here. Shout out to you. He was the MVP, right?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, so shout out to him. But they did hit a walk-off home run off of him, and it was a sad day for us, or a sad game. But yeah, no, it was great. I had a great time with it. Honestly, I think, as a player, let's say as a new player, beginner player, my takeaways from every game where you making the playoffs was that it gets everyone time to play. Mm-hmm. Because not to say that the games don't matter because you're automatically in, because they do. Seeding matters, being on a high seed and maybe getting a bye or a later time or a different team is much different than you taking the harder road, right?
Yeah.
But at least during those first 3 games or 4 games, whatever they are, you can probably play guys that typically wouldn't get playtime.
Yes, it helps coaches get players in, every player in your team to like get somebody to say, hey, like what do you work with, and you don't have to worry about like when you're in pool play. Most tournaments, you do have to fight for that bracket play spot.
Yeah.
So I know Florida and Arizona, not everybody makes it. You have to fight for it. So you need to have a good record in those, and like I wanted to like give that opportunity to teams like, hey, this is cool. This is what it feels like to be in pressure moments. And the one thing about this sport is that the team that you don't think is going to win could win.
Do you think there's pros and cons to having everybody make it into bracket play versus not?
I've seen this to where in travel ball, when I was playing, some teams where they feel like if you're a 1 seed and you play the 8th seed, and then like if you lose to the 8th seed as the 1 seed, they're gonna feel like suckers. Like hey, like we lost to the 8th seed. Like, why was this team even in here? We had a better record.
Yeah.
I have seen that happen. So I guess that's the only downfall, really. I mean, like that could happen, but again, it's baseball. If anything, you should take your hats off. The better team won.
Yeah.
So
because I think if you're the number 1 team and you lose to the 8th team, I mean, were you deserving of moving on?
Yeah.
Who's to say that the next team you would have faced wasn't going to beat you? Because if you lost to the 8th place team, okay, so you're facing maybe the 6th place team potentially, or 4th, depending on where you cut it off.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be better than the 8th place team, so they can technically also beat you. Being number 1 isn't always the thing. We've seen it, even during the league, where that first place team doesn't make it to the championship, right? And
yeah,
I mean, to think back, the White Sox, who won the championship here in Blue Island, they were placed where? I think they were.
So both years, I believe they were 6th place.
Yeah.
And wild card both years, and they have a great team, great organization. They find a way just to beat teams.
Yeah.
Like it's when it comes down to it. I mean, they're grinders. They've been together for a while, and that's the one thing that like I feel like in playoffs. Take the Brewers for instance too. Mm-hmm. Teams like that been together for a long time do well because like they've been in this spot before. They've been to championships. They they know what it's like, you know, in elimination moment for pressures. And for me, I've been to semis twice. One was with the Orioles when we faced the Expos. That was a great series back in 2021. We went to game 3. Fortunately, we lost. It wasn't chips and fall that our shoulders. The Expos ended up winning that year. That was great. And in this year for 2024, the Nationals versus Sox, game 3, we lost 4-3.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's rough, and you can see those teams who, you know, have been there show that, and I think it's across anywhere, you know, any sport. Teams who have been there even at least once had that experience, and they tend to be able to overcome certain challenges, come back from deficits versus, you know, just kind of, you know, falling apart. I know when we went down to Arizona, I think that was probably one of, like, you know, for those who know that, you know, of the teams that went down there, I think that was probably one of the downfalls, is the fact that, yes, the team was in say, what's the best term? Wasn't an original team where you played with these guys and are reliable. So it's like, I played with these guys for the past 3 years. We've been there too. We've been in these games. You might have been in these games as an individual on a different team, but you know that in an environment like that, one person doesn't really, you know, dictate the team. It's the whole collective, right? So it's everybody being to that championship game before that's gonna get you back to that championship, not just that one person.
Yeah, I think if you could be on a different team and play for someone, you know, years, and like come back and play with them, like going to these tournaments. You really need to have good, I would say, not being like, you can't load yourself with like a bunch of like all-stars going down these tournaments. You need to have like good team chemistry.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing. Get along, make sure that that you guys do everything to win. And it's fun. Those Arizona teams, I mean, they play all year.
Yeah,
and those,
they're savage. Those guys, like, how they played in that, like, in heat like that daily, they're probably used to it. But
like, if you really need to hydrate down there, like, it's no joke. The dry heat, it's fun breathing dry heat. Like, I'd rather have dry heat any day than have July weather with the index.
That is true. That is true. So, do you plan on going back down to Arizona next year?
I do. I want to check out Florida. I heard Florida. I know a couple of teams, like the Chicago Giants went down there. I forgot a couple other teams that went down. I think Mickey went down there as well.
Yeah. I know some of the guys from the Chicago Storm went down. I don't know who they went with, but yeah. Okay. So quite a few people. Honestly, this is probably the first year that I've seen so many teams go down to Florida.
Yes. Florida, it's all turf.
Is it still ran by the same company, the same umbrella, NABA?
I want to say yes, but I'm not 100% sure. I believe so, but again, not 100% sure. Arizona, when I played down there for 2 years now, I love the fields, and the competition is always great. And any day you're playing an elite team. It's different type of baseball down there. You've seen like stuff like that happen that like you don't see on a regular basis, you know, in leagues, as far as like who's pitching or like who's hitting. Like, this guy just roped the crap out of like one of your best pitchers that you bring down there. It's like, wow. Or like if you hit off of a great pitcher, that's like cool, you know?
Yeah.
So, or some elite plays that you don't see, diving plays, you know, like Derek Jeter plays at shortstop. Like, you just don't see that often. Yeah,
no, it's Arizona's. You know, we said before, like, anybody who's never traveled outside of Chicago, for that matter, to partake in these tournaments, they have to.
Yes,
it's an experience. Even if you only do it once and never want to go back again, it's expensive. It's not cheap to do this.
No, it's never cheap.
But it's definitely experience that you can bring back and use it here. Because I can guarantee you, regardless, every guy who went down there this year, no matter if we lost, they're gonna take that experience and bring it back and say, you know, what worked down there. How do we face, you know, teams like that. Because I mean, truth be told, as much as I can say, and that we probably have among the best competition in the whole city in the suburb area, teams wise, those teams over there are on a whole different level. I mean, there's teams on our league that will definitely match up toe to toe with them. Mm-hmm. But they are. I mean, it's different. It's different down there. But I guess let's look at the comments here. We've been chatting it up for a little while, and sometimes these comments get lost. So let's see. I don't know if Eddie's still in here. We got 6 viewers right now. We had Eddie says it's Lamont. It says F Manuka, and I'm assuming he's talking about F Proviso as well as Wheaton is good at football, but baseball they're average. Oh, interesting. Look at Lamont state titles. So Lamont has a bunch of state titles. I'm assuming?
They do actually. Yeah, I had a couple of friends when I played travel ball for the DuPage Hounds. One of them won in 2017. I think that was for 3A class. Yeah.
Okay.
So we played 4A, which was like the more kids go to your school, the different level you have to be at. So. Mm.
And then Al says academic and sports, right? Is it 2 or can they get both? So when you're in college, can you get one or the other, or can you get both?
You can get both. Obviously, if you have a great GPA, you have good SATs or ACT scores, you can go to school and just sometimes actually, if you're going to Division 1, Division 2, the coach will probably say, hey, you have great SAT scores, you have great GPA. You're basically going to school for nothing, because you have great academic standards. Mm-hmm. They'll say, hey, can we give this, you're a great ball player. They would want to take that scholarship and give it to someone else that maybe doesn't get that.
Oh, interesting. Mm-hmm. You said Judson has adult field, turf infield, grass outfield. DePaul doesn't have a baseball team, only softball. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, I was like, it's weird. Like, why wouldn't they have a baseball team? That's kind of weird. But where would they even be? Would that be considered D1 anyways?
What?
DePaul?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I would think so. What I found out? Bowling is I think it's only NAIA for college scholarships in college sport. I think it's only for NAIA. I don't think there's Division 1 bowling or Division 2 or Division 3. I could be wrong on that, but I that's what I heard.
As Al says you struck out 3 times and went deep on this 4th at bat. Is that true?
I have no idea. He's.
Why are you bringing up the past, Al?
Don't be salty that I took your boy deep. And I think I struck out the first time and I went deep the second time. I don't remember striking out 3. I think probably struck out the first time, but not twice.
You said it was at Marionette Park. Where's Marionette Park?
Marionette Park is probably 10 minutes from Hart. It's one of our first fields that we had for the first 2 years, I believe. So, yes, I did. That was the first time I did play Al, and I met Al was at Marionette Park. Mm.
Was he bald already then?
Jeez. I don't know. I could tell you,
oh, did you have hair back then?
Yes, I used to have a flow.
My boy Fredo says that's what's up, Mike? And then Al says that during the spring tournament, says game 1 was 32 degrees. What you talking about? And then he mentions the other 2 teams were Hitmen and Bravos, which I think we mentioned them. And then we got TJ in here, says to tell Mike I said what's up, and Bobby Morello says also what's up, brother?
What's up, guys?
So yeah, so that's the chat. So before we continue, anything you want to talk about?
I guess different coaching styles for kids.
Different coaching styles. What do you mean by that?
So how a coach is teaching kids, how to go about it. I would say more so. I feel like.
Have you coached a kids team before?
I have.
You have? Where have you coached?
So I used to coach top tier South for 11 and 12U. I coached them for one fall season, and then I coached with my brother a little bit at the Titans and top tier for a little bit.
Well, you better start reaching out to these people. We got this 12U tournament going on for Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that at DM, but you gotta get me in contact with people for that. All right. But okay, so you coach. See, if I would have known that, I would have thrown that out as your little accolade underneath your name on the poster.
Yeah, it was just for a short period, just because I was in college still, so I had to dedicate myself to either playing or to coaching.
Okay.
So I feel like that chapter is not closed for me for coaching. I feel like once I have kids, or maybe in a couple years when I can't play anymore, I would like to coach.
You should pick up a team right now. Hear me out, and we'll continue, but hear me out. There's a lot of kids in over here in our communities over here that don't have that. I think it has a lot to do with money. The money situations. It's hard. It's hard all around, but most families over here in our neck of the woods, we have to choose. Whether we pay for a league fee for a kid to play, or do we put some food on the table? It really is like that. But if you're a coach, if you coached before, you know what? We'll figure it out. We'll figure out how we get some money. Get your own team. 12U.
Yeah, no, I should. I love
not 11U, not 10U, not 14U, 12U.
12U. I love coaching kids. Actually, I actually do it just because I remember it was like being in their shoes.
Okay.
So and I feel like today there's a lot of, if you're like starting out in baseball, like say 6 years old or 7, let them play just, I would say, in-house right now. Don't start travel until you're like, if you see your son or daughter in softball starting to be elite, then yes, maybe start at 10 at the earliest, or 11. It's better to have them just be a kid, because I feel like kids, if you start them like really early age, they'll get burnt out by the time they're ready to go to college. And not everyone goes to college for ball. You just have to be really dedicated, because you're working to get there, and then you have to do more work once you're there to beat out certain people at your position.
So how do you go about coaching a kid?
If they mess up, don't yell. I've seen too many dads or too many coaches, even ex ball players. You can be an ex ball player and not be a good coach. It's your job to teach them about, hey, don't embarrass them, like don't yell, because what's the objective then for telling them like what could you do differently? Like, it's not going to change the play. It's more so that you have to just say, hey, it's okay. Can I tell you like what we could do next time, or like how can we go about this or that? Just have, and just being a team more so. To have team bondings, like do some parties to get the kids together. Do some fun practices. Sometimes I feel like in practice, like you just take everything seriously. Have some fun. Do a game. Like we always did pepper. Like, I don't know, pepper, like, or wall ball, or tips.
Yes.
I don't know if you know what tips are. Tips is like, I think it's where you have a ball in your hand, and this would be a warm-up game for us in college. And when I was a kid, you start with one ball in one hand, and you have another one, and you toss it to a next person. It's a big circle. There's like about 5 or 6 people in, and then you have to try to get the person out by like not catching the ball, like it hits on the ground. So that was always fun. Just make it fun. Like, do fungal golf, do something.
Yeah, but see, I beg to differ, and maybe that's where like it's a generational thing. I would probably say. And what do I mean by that? I think that coaching is a very difficult job to begin with, no matter where you're at, because you're coaching many different characters. Maybe everyone is different. right? So sometimes there's individuals who, when you talk to them in a sense like this, we're like, hey, don't worry about it. We'll talk about it after, once, in a little bit or after the game, what, you could have done better, what you can practice on, or, during the week before next game so that, stop that from happening. There's some people that definitely that's okay with. But then there's also other players who they don't have, say, the fire underneath them that to get them to make those changes in themselves. And I can't say that you just yell at people or kids for that matter just for the hell of it, just to yell at them. Mm-hmm. That's not the answer. That's not what I'm saying. Saying that there's a way to yell at a person, adult, kid, or whatever, in that sports environment, to get the point across, but without bringing them down, because I think that's the key word, like how or that's like the dilemma in a lot of people, that a lot of people don't know how to do that. Because I can guarantee you that even that, let's say in football, coaches aren't talking to their wide receivers or their QBs, but like, hey, we'll talk after the game, like, no, they're yelling at them. Yeah. You know why? Obviously that is a professional level. It's in a professional environment, right? You're supposed to, know what you're doing, right? Right now we're talking about kids, right? But nonetheless, it still applies. How often do we not see kids running around? I can tell you, as a parent, I don't yell at my kids, okay? But I've been blessed that my kids, when I talk to them, they listen, right? If I tell them, hey, don't do that, or come over here, or come sit down right here, let's talk about this, they listen, right? But how often do we not see other kids, when they tell them that they don't even, they're like, look at you, look the other way, right? Yeah. So it's one of those things that's it's difficult, right? So I think you as a coach, you have to be able to get to know your player first. Mm-hmm. Then figure out, is this the player that I need to talk to in this manner? Is this a player that I need to put a little to light up a fire underneath his ass? Because sometimes, how often, and you played baseball for a long time, so I know you've seen this. When have you ever seen a player who's an elite player? He's a really good player, but he slacks off a lot.
I've seen that.
Right? Mm-hmm. And how does a coach typically light a fire underneath him?
By, I guess, not complimenting him oh, well, I expect that, you know what I mean? Or say what's funny that I've always seen is that kids, when they start off, when they're like 10, 11, 12, when they're elite at that time, that player that was not good then runs over them. Yeah. And they get better. I was actually one of those players where when I was young at 10, 11, 12, I was never I was the best. I was probably say I was average. And then when you're average at best, you say, hey, start working, go work out, go hit more, go field more, do anything, just go play catch, go do something with baseball, benefit yourself. And you just for playing this game for so long, I had a great work ethic in high school, and I would say at the freshman year, 8th grade to freshman year, I had a great work ethic.
But see, typically, when it comes to player development, usually the person who's always working at it is gonna probably go further than the guy who's just talented. Now, talent can get you a lot of places, but if you have talent, just raw talent, and not even work a little bit at it, eventually someone else is gonna pick you up. And I think that's what I mean, in the team sense of things. If I have a player who's just slacking off, I'm gonna bench you. Yeah, I'm gonna bench you. You know what? And you can go about it different ways. You can just bench them and then talk to them afterwards as to why you did it, or you can tell them you're gonna bench them, so that they can light up a fire, and sometimes they won't take you serious. And you can yell, I think there's yelling and then there's shouting.
I've been all my life. I've had, you go through a different variety of coaches. I've had coaches that scream. I had coaches that were, that didn't scream, that really didn't know how to coach sometimes, or that were friendly, that just didn't want to be there, or like it. I went through a variety of coaches over my career.
As a coach, you can't be friends. You're not a friend of the players.
No, you're not.
Or the parents.
Your job is like teaching. So you're a teacher.
You're a teacher, right? So, and part of that is sometimes yelling. It's like and again, that's more of like, I think that's a generational thing, because I grew up in that age, and even then I'll even use something even more recent, and the military yells at their soldiers when they're training. There's a reason they do that.
I'm sure, yeah.
The reason, and I'm not no way, shape, or form am I comparing war to playing baseball. All right,
even though sometimes people take it like that.
I am no shape or form comparing being in a war to playing baseball. But me, as a person who served and looked back on it, they're trying to break you down to build you back up, right? They want to get you used to that environment, that high stress environment, because getting yelled at brings stress. But when you're stressed, you can shut down or you can overcome it, right? When you're in a high stress situation, I think people who have gone that other route probably perform better than the people who were just babied along the way.
Yes.
And it's sad, but it's the truth. The truth is the truth. I can't say how factual it is. I'm not. Don't come at me in the chat or tomorrow. It's like, that's a lie, Edgar. Fake news. Like, no. But I mean, in reality, is the teams that succeed, the players that succeed, are the people who are able to overcome high stress, situations, and in being able to learn, to take shouting. I mean, look at teams. There's a few teams even in the league. I'm not even. I don't even. I was gonna say Arizona, but I'm not even gonna go that far. There's teams in the league here that you and I and anyone else who's watching knows those are trash talking teams.
Yes.
Right. How do they win their games?
By getting in your head.
By getting in your head. Thank you. Do you think you get in their head?
No.
No, right? No.
If you play your game.
If you play your game. You beat them. You beat those type of teams by just playing, but they beat you by getting in here.
Yeah, and that's why even sometimes too, if you trash talk more, I know some players. I think I'm kind of like this too a little bit. I did it for fun, but like if some people like it when you trash talk.
Oh
them.
Yeah.
So I feel like even, shout out to Eddie. I feel like when people talk trash to him, man, he's on. Like he's on like his game. Like he's focused in, and he likes to prove people wrong.
Oh yeah, but so that's what I'm saying. That if you're a person who coaches, or your team is coached more of like on the nicer side, and I say that because I've seen it. I've seen teams, even men's league teams, where it's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's like, we'll get them you get them next time, and I'm like. The competitive side of me is like, yeah, you may get another at bat, but that's also not the right way. Just saying letting it go or being nice. Like, no, in a playoff game, you gotta be on your A game. And you might yell and you might hurt some people's feelings, but you gotta be able to withstand that. Now, again, the difference is how you go about it. How you go about it. You can't just shouting or yelling at somebody for the hell of it, or just spilling gibberish nonsense that's not it. There's a way and a method to it. You don't shout at a player to degrade them. Right? You can shout at a player and yell, and you're like, get your head in the game. 2 hands, right? Use 2 hands. If you're a guy that just dropped a fly, a fly ball, right, an infield fly or something, you can yell at somebody, hey, get your head in the game, right? This is a playoff game. You can do that, but don't call. You're not gonna yell at me. You're like, see, you're freaking trash, like whatever. You know what? Get the hell off the field. You're not gonna do that.
No.
And I know I've seen it.
I experienced both. So like when I was like even in travel, when I was like a young, I was actually one of those, when I was working, I was actually starting to see talent myself. I was actually, believe it or not, I was that player. I was that player to call people out, and like in a bad way. Like believe it or not, I would say like, catch the effing ball, or, get your effing head. Like I would be that player. And it wasn't until that I was, I believe 18 or 19, where I was like, wow, I was wrong. That's not how like you should go about people, or about teammates, like just like calling people mother effer, or like say like, you're the reason we lost the game. Like,
yeah, you never do that.
No,
never ever do that.
And I could tell you when I was young, I did that for a small period, but like I admit I was one of those guys.
Yeah, but I think it's all nobody knows life, right? No. Like this is like, before we wrap it up, this is that part of like we'll call this like the life lesson, for the viewers. It's like no one's born knowing what to do in life. Everything is trial and error. A lot of us are gonna make mistakes in life, period. It's just learning from them, and that's what life is about. Life is the journey, not the destination. It's the journey to get there. Because how often do you guys like, you know what, I'm gonna work my butt off to get that car, and when you get the car, you have that sense of accomplishment. But then afterwards, the car's just the car, right?
Yeah.
It was like, but what made it special was how hard you worked for that.
Yeah.
Right. How hard like when you grind out an 8. How many games do we play total if you win the championship? 25.
There's series in our league you're talking about.
Because we have 18 games right now.
18 regular season, and then you have series depending on where you are, like in wild card, quarterfinals, semi.
You probably play championship about 25, maybe a little bit more, right?
You could end up playing 30.
So that's a grind, right?
Yeah.
So that season, when you think about that championship, if you win it, you look back at the journey. Remember when we beat that team? Remember when I know, I talk about it right now. The funnest part about fall ball for me was the fact that a couple of those games, the team that I was on, we came back from losing, or we're shorthanded, and we came back to win it. Like that right there is what to me that's the
best feeling.
That's the best feeling. It's like, I know we didn't win the championship. Michoacan won that, but that made fall ball the life for me.
And that's what's fun. And I know what you're feeling, because I've had games where I felt like that. Like, hey, you're down by like 4 runs, you come back and walk it off. It's like, wow, that was awesome. That made you feel like you just won the World Series.
Yep, absolutely. So it's not like you're gonna make mistakes. Mm-hmm. It's about how you go about it. Shouting at everyone someone just to shout is not the way. There's ways to go about it. And like somebody said here right now, is that you got to coach everyone differently. Everyone is different. That's the key part. Everyone is different. How you learn, how I learn, how they learn is different. And I think that's what difference is. The best coach from a good coach from a bad coach, right? Mm-hmm. So, but other than that, one more comment I see Armando saying, shout out to all my brothers and sisters Marines for November 10th and our birthday, to all the veterans Monday, November. Happy Veterans Day, and go Chicago Giants. Hey, shout out Armando, from a veteran to a veteran, shout out to you. Hope to see you down the road during the season, and maybe, gotta come out for the Spring Classic, man. Gotta get your guys out there, right?
Got to.
But another shameless plug. So for anyone who's watching and has a little kid, a kid's team, not say little kid, I am in partnership with our friend here, Mike. We are putting together a 12U tournament. It's gonna be happening here in Crestwood. So not technically Blue Island, but it is our sister property, park. 12U. So for those who don't know, maybe this is first time, like that's the division we're playing at. But if you got kids that are 10U, 11U, they're welcome to play up to 12U.
Absolutely.
But it is $500 per team. That's the team fee, and then we got 3 games guaranteed, plus the bracket play. We got umpires included, baseballs, awards, and the field. There's nothing. You literally just pay the fee, come show up, and that's it. And then drum roll, the winner gets a photo shoot. The championship game gonna get a photograph.
That's awesome.
As a kid, I looking back, I was like, I wish I would have had that.
Yeah.
I played basketball. I didn't get it, but when I see now, even us as adults, it's like I gotta teach somebody to take pictures with my camera so they can take photos of me when I'm out there. But
I wish I would have. My dad was a photographer. He learned that in college, and I was like,
Mr. Schellhorn, I'm gonna hire you up for the season. I got a couple of cameras. Mike, here's this one for you, Mr. Schellhorn. Let's make this happen. But no, Mike, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I really, really appreciate that. Thank you for telling us a little bit about yourself, talking about the tournaments, and then we wish you the best of luck in the Spring Classic. It's going to be a complete success. You already got 8 teams. For anyone who is interested, where can they reach you at?
Reach me at my Facebook or my phone number. That's on the flyer. Okay. So yeah, you can reach me right there, and I will answer you shortly. I'll get back to you soon.
Yeah, so reach out to him if you're interested in joining the Spring Classic. Great time. I know it's first quarter, might be a little bit shit, but tell you, I was there. He was there. It's fun.
It's fun. We're actually gonna have some vendors out there too, which is cool. Like about selling bats and selling gloves, and I think there's gonna be one for relacing gloves too.
There you go. Say it, yeah. All right. For everyone else, I will catch you guys next week. It will be, I believe it's Thursday, or maybe Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday next week. I think my guest for next week, you'll see it. I'll throw out a flyer, but I'll see you guys next week, 7:30, either Wednesday or Thursday. You'll see it. Don't miss it. One last shout out. Make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel. Excuse me. When we reach 1,000, I am raffling off a baseball bat. So go to YouTube, look up at Second City Life, click that sub button, and then get entered to win that bat. And one more. We officially reached 1,000 followers.
That's awesome.
On the Blue Island page.
Oh, that is awesome.
Didn't take 3 months. I think it was less than 3 months, and we reached. I think it was like a little bit over. Yeah, maybe 90 days. 1,000 followers. So thank you for everyone who's following us. Thank you. Until next week, stay tuned. Thank you again, Mike.
Thank you, sir.